Seems like the sun may never come. I made my way through the darkest night to the break of day on the other side. For some time the light's been creeping in. Now I'm feeling like I could trust again. You're the only person who reminds me love is beautiful and true. Life is beautiful and new. Oh, you're the only person who reminds me. Hold on now, don't you blink or it's gone. I've been terrified of life for way too long. Oh no, now don't you blink or it's gone. In another life, who knows what we become.
So yeah, that was training. It was a lot of fun. And then after that week was over, we launched into the summer, and I had a fantastic 8 weeks myself. I know a lot of other people did. We'll get to that in a minute. But first, I want to tell you about something else for just a minute, because if you want to look up video montages of people having fun at summer camp, you can easily find that for yourself. That's nothing unique to me, but I do want to share with you the one thing that only I can share with you, and that's my own story. So I got hired for support staff, which meant serving in the stores and snack shops at the camp. But the second week, I was told that I would need to be a counselor because there was a staff shortage. They didn't have enough counselors, so they had to pull me for that role. And I was definitely very nervous about that. I don't have any younger siblings, and I never really worked with young kids in the past before. So the idea of being solely responsible for a group of 6 elementary schoolers for an entire week was definitely new to me. But I decided to trust God, knowing that He was putting me into this new experience, and I knew that I could learn a lot from it, so I decided to just give it a try. I went into the week, and it turned out to be one of the craziest weeks of my entire life, one of the hardest weeks, but I also learned a ton. There's just something unique about counseling that it's not like other jobs where you have, you're on the clock and then you have a break. Counseling is just continuously. You're always working, and you're always responsible for something. There's always something going on. You can't ever take a break and just kind of forget about it for a minute. You have to be always aware of what's going on and present and proactive. And so it really just takes a lot of energy out of you. So due to that, I really learned how to rely on God's strength to get me through the week, because it was about the second day of that week, I just hit a brick wall, and I did not think I could go on any longer with this whole counseling thing. I just, was incredibly tired, had dealt with a lot of, different interesting and difficult situations throughout the day, and I didn't think I could do it anymore. And I remember just lying in my bed that night and just praying a very simple prayer of just God, help me. I need you. I need you to give me the strength and the stamina to get through this week, because I literally cannot do it on my own. And so I had never really prayed something like that before, because I've always, been able to kind of do stuff on my own. Even if I'm doing it to serve God, I can kind of do it using my own resources, I guess. But that week, I could not do that week without strength from God. So I definitely learned a lot about, not relying on my own strength, relying on God's strength, and also just the fact that I can do stuff that seems impossible, right? That week, I did. There were many times that week where I did not think I could, continue to be a counselor. I did not think I could do it. And even at the beginning of the week, I was like, I don't know if I can do this. How? I've never done anything like this. Why am I even here, right? But then, I got through the week, and it was a really great experience. And so I just realized that, there's Bible verses that talk about that. Everybody kind of knows that concept who's, a Christian or knows what the Bible says. Everybody knows that the Bible says, I can do all things through God who gives me strength. But I really came to understand that week, if that makes sense. I felt that on a very personal level. it really got real that week. So that was definitely a very cool learning experience, and I just had a great sense of accomplishment too. Like, not of myself. Like, I did everything I could through God, but I knew that I could do things that seemed impossible, and so that gave me, a lot of confidence and the willingness to do harder things in the future. So yeah, that was my week of counseling. It was a great learning experience. But then I went back to support staff for the rest of the summer, and that was also great. But that all came to a sudden halt on week 8, the last week of the summer, when I was told that I would need to be a counselor again due to another staff shortage. And to be honest, I was very confused and almost angry about that, because I didn't know why. Like, why would I have to do it again, right? Because it was a fun experience. It was good once I had gotten through it. But while I was doing counseling, it was not, it was very, very hard, like very difficult. Not something I would say I necessarily enjoy, like in and of itself. I enjoyed it because of what I learned and because of what I got to tell the kids and stuff like that. But I didn't enjoy the job itself very much. And so just the thought of having to go through another whole week of that was obviously, I didn't want to do it, right? That's the bottom line. I did not want to do another week of counseling. But I knew that, through my first week of counseling, God had shown me that I could do seemingly impossible things. And so I didn't understand why he was like testing me again, if that makes sense. Like, I kind of had the thought of like, we've already been through this. God, you've already shown me all this stuff. You've already taught me, right? Why do I have to relearn it? Like, what are you doing here, right? And so yeah, that was kind of a big thing I wrestled with. But in the end, I decided to trust God again. The last time I didn't want to do it, but God had told me to do it, and so I did, and it turned out to be great. So I figured the same thing was probably going on here, and so I decided to jump into it. And also, it was my last week, so I figured I could just go for it, and even if it was like really bad, really hard, I would only be a few days, and then I could like go home and rest. So I went into it, and I think that week was the single week out of my entire life where I learned the most in 1 week. I learned so much that week, and not just from counseling. Like, I kind of relearned and understood on an even deeper level, trusting God, relying on His strength, and relying on His guidance to get me through life. But also, just from the chapels that we had twice a day, and talking to other counselors, talking with kids, I just learned so much about, what it means to serve God, and why we're on this earth, why Christians should act differently from the rest of the world, and what our perspective should be on, eternity versus now, and like we still should serve right now in the world, but we should look ahead towards eternity, because that's what really matters. And so just a lot of things. I could go into a lot more depth on each one of those topics, but I learned a lot. Suffice it to say, I learned so much that week, and it was an awesome experience overall. Again, a really difficult week. Like I said, counseling is very hard, but it was an amazing experience, and I would definitely say that it changed my life. I know it's a little cliche to say, camp changed my life, and I know that's true when most people say it. I know that camp has changed a lot of people's lives in a very big way, but I think for me, it didn't really change how I live my life, or like what I do, right? I still kind of do the same things. It didn't make me want to, be a camp director when I grow up or anything, but it definitely did change how I think about things. It changed my perspective for sure, and that was very cool. It was amazing to see God really work in my life in a very, very visible way. Like I could easily tell that he was at work at that camp, changing lives, including my own, and just doing awesome things. So yeah, that was kind of my experience at camp. And now we can get back to the rest of the story. This is picking up week 5, weekend before week 5. This was when we went on our rafting trip. So here we go.
Greatest day in history, that is beaten, you have rescued me. Sing it out, Jesus is alive. The empty cross, the empty grave, life eternal, you have won the day. Shout it out, Jesus is alive. He's alive. Happy day, you washed my sin away. Oh, happy day, I'll never be the same. I'll never be the same. Free at last, meeting face to face. I'm yours, Jesus, you are mine. And the joy, perfect peace. Earthly pain finally will cease. Celebrate, Jesus is alive. He's alive. Oh, happy day, happy day. You wash my sin away. Oh, happy day, happy day. I'll never be the same. I'll never be the same. I'll never be the same. I'll never be the same.
So that was pretty much the whole summer. We went on a horse ride or two, survived a torrential downpour, had one last Inspire night, went on one more sunrise hike, held one last stick service, and then went home. But before you go, I want to share one of my favorite memories from the summer with you.
I lift my voice to praise you. My concrete heart won't stop me. My concrete heart won't stop me. I'll sing like it's the first time. I'll sing like it's the first time. I leave behind the cynic. I leave behind the cynic in my soul. We're letting praise like fireworks loose from our thankful hearts. You've given us a heart, given us a home. You've given us a heart, given us a home. You've given us a heart, given us a home with you. Yeah.